18 of the rarest historical photos you must see. Over the past few years, more photos have been taken in the world than in the previous century. Why? Well, it's obvious. Now every cell phone has a camera and almost everyone is dreaming of being a photographer. Nevertheless, photographers from the past also managed to capture a lot of interesting things. Here's a great collection of rare images that will remain in history forever. And don't miss the first picture. It's pretty naughty. The very first photo of a human being, 1838. To be more precise, it's a daguerreotype image of the Boulevard du Temple in Paris, made by Louis Daguerre from his window in the spring of 1838. There could have been a lot more people in the image, but because of the long exposure, Daguerre managed to capture only a shoe cleaner and his client. Number 17. An Indian tattoo on the face of a white woman, 1863. Olive Oatman's parents were killed in 1859 when she was only 14 years old. She was kidnapped by Indians and then sold into the slavery of the Mojave. After 5 years spent in the tribe, the young woman managed to return to American society. Perhaps the Mojave treated Olive not as a slave but as an equal, because they made her tattoos they themselves wore. Number 16. The first known photograph of an obscene gesture, 1886. Apparently, the photographer did something wrong to baseball player Charles Radburn because he, without thinking twice, showed the middle finger at the camera. This act remains in world history as the first obscene gesture captured in a photo. Number 15. Students after a snowball fight, 1893. This is what these Princeton students looked like after a seemingly innocent snowball fight. They could easily be mistaken for soldiers who have just returned from a battlefield or for the victims of angry bees. Number 14. A sculptor helps a veteran disguise the consequences of injuries, 1917. At the beginning of the 20th century, plastic surgery was far from perfect, but it had an alternative: masks replacing lost parts of the face. One of the experts in making such masks was the sculptor Anna Coleman Ladd. Of course, this method couldn't make a face as it was before, but many people who suffered went on to have relationships and stopped thinking of suicide. Number 13. The tallest person in the history of medical observations, the 1930s. The Alton giant, Robert Pershing Wadlow, remains the tallest man in the world's history. He was 8 feet 11 inches, or 272 centimeters tall, and weighed 439 pounds, or 199 kilos. Unfortunately, Robert lived a short life and died at the age of 22 in 1940. Number 12. A German worker refuses to raise his hand in the Nazi salute, 1936. This man's name is August Landmesser. With his gesture, he expressed disagreement with the policy of the Third Reich, because of which he couldn't marry a Jewish woman, Irma Eckler. Irma was later sent to a concentration camp where she was killed, and August entered a penal battalion and disappeared. Number 10. The future Queen Elizabeth II serving in the Army, 1945. During World War II, the future Queen of England served in the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service as a mechanic and ambulance driver. In this photo, Princess Elizabeth holds a clock in her hands, a gift from her co-workers. Number 9. American soldiers returning home, 1945. After the military action in Western Europe was finished, the dreadnought Queen Elizabeth safely delivered American soldiers to New York. Number 8. Sophia Loren and Jane Mansfield, 1957. This is how Sophia Loren herself described this situation. Paramount had organized a party for me. All of the cinema was there, and then in comes Jayne Mansfield, the last one to come. She knew everyone was watching. Where are my eyes? I'm staring at her nipples because I'm afraid they're about to come onto my plate. Number 7. The Woman with the Thinnest Waist in the World, 1959. British woman Ethel Granger decided to change extremely to please her husband, William. She had to wear corsets, not taking them off at night, as well as high heels and pretentious piercings, for which Ethel's husband personally pierced her nose with a silver needle. Over time, the woman's waist reduced from a natural 62 centimeters, or 24.4 inches, to 33 centimeters, 13 inches, which allowed her to get into the Guinness World Records. Number 6. The Beatles crossing Abbey Road in the opposite direction, 1969. Most of us have seen the photo of the famous Abbey Road cover. Yet there are other pictures of the band made in the same place, 6 of them. By the way, the white Volkswagen Beetle, which accidentally got into the frame, was sold at auction in 1986 for £2,530. Number 5. One of Uncle Sam's prototypes, 1970. Uncle Sam, strictly watching from campaign posters, is a collective image. However, in this photo, it's easy to see the similarity of the uncle with one of his prototypes, a veteran named Walter Botts. Number 4. A family photo on the surface of the moon, 1972. Astronaut Charles Duke, who took part in the Apollo 16 mission as a lunar module pilot, left his family photo. Charles, his wife, Dorothy, and their sons, Charles Jr. and Thomas, on the surface of the moon. Number 3. Iranian pop singers before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Before the Islamic Revolution of 1979, many Iranians looked like Europeans or Americans. They wore fashionable clothes, women didn't hide their hair, and they didn't even hesitate to appear on a beach in a bikini. Number 2. Kurt Cobain plays an imaginary guitar, 1993. Lenny Kravitz posted this photo on his Instagram, saying it was made on September 2nd, 1993, during the MTV Music Awards ceremony. Lenny was playing his hit, Are You Gonna Go My Way? And Kurt, standing behind the scenes, accompanied him on an imaginary guitar. Number 1. Leonardo DiCaprio finally got his Oscar, 2016. This photo was taken not long ago, but it will certainly go down in history for 2 reasons. First, Leo finally received his well-deserved Oscar. Second, the actor was so happy that he couldn't resist a little joking gesture. Well, let's not blame him for this because he has been waiting for his treasured award for 12 years. Don't forget to share this video with your curious friends and click subscribe to join the bright side of life.